This year, this is a little bit about me. Um, there's me. There's my family. I've been teaching music for 20 years. I just finished my 20th year, sort of in the middle of the year. And even though I've been teaching for 20 years, this is actually my first year as a middle school teacher. So it's a whole new challenge, which I love. I'm getting to do band and choir again after teaching elementary school for 6 years. And before that, I taught high school for 13 years. And this is my 5th year in the Renaissance Grant, which I absolutely love it. If you're just new to a grant in KDC, you're in for a lot of awesome learning and great time with fellow teachers. So I'm like the name of my presentation is This is the Way, because I kind of like puns, and it's Wayground. So Wayground is really helpful. All right, so like I said, Wayground used to be called Quizzes. Has anyone used Quizzes in the past? If you have, maybe you could say something in the chat. I'm trying to see where, so I can see things in the chat. If you've used, okay, Audrey's got thumbs up there. Oh, awesome. Okay, so I used it when I was teaching high school when it was Quizzes. And I also coach 2 academic teams, and I use it for that as well, for review. So if you've used it before, you may know about some tricks that I don't even know about yet. I've been using it a lot this year, but it's a really great tool, and there's maybe some things that you didn't know it could do that hopefully I can share with you today. All right, has anyone ever felt like this, the Sunday scaries, where you're like, especially after Christmas break, like, I don't even know what my job is, what I'm trying to do, just trying to get back in the swing of things. And maybe you're just in a slump where you're trying to get students engaged in some way or another. So this is a list of some things that I can use Wayground to help with. Basically, it can do a whole lesson. You could use AI and say, hey, I want to teach a lesson about music careers, and or you could have a presentation you already have that's kind of ho-hum boring, but you could put it into Wayground, and it makes questions after every slide. If you want multiple choice questions, it can do that, multiple select, short answer, longer answer. So that's very KSA-like. You could use it to review for something like a quiz coming up or a test. It could even make flashcards. It can make worksheets. It connects well with Google Classroom. Are you all in districts that use Google Classroom? So you set up your classes in Wayground with your classes in Google Classroom, and that way you can see, oh, little Johnny has not completed this activity yet, because it gives you a roster from your Google Classroom, which really helps. I can just look down and see, okay, this student needs to complete this assignment. It can be student-paced. If you just want something the students can work on independently, somewhat independently. But today I'm going to show you how it works with the teacher-paced mode, because when I used this 8 years ago, it didn't have this mode. We may have NTI days coming up. I don't know how your district does NTI days, if they do packets or they do online, but it's a great review tool. It can be assigned for NTI. It's an assignment that you could give when you have to be out. You could just give your secretary the code, and the students could connect to it, or you could assign in your Google Classroom and let the secretary know that that's the assignment. One of the things that's really beneficial that I've learned this year is that you can actually see kind of what's going on with the students. Kind of gives you the back end of what's going on when you're giving a presentation or a quiz. Has anybody used Pulse, Classroom Pulse option with Wayground before? That's something I think is really helpful. That's one of the things I want to show you. So with Wayground, all these things are possible, and there's even more free features. And by the way, I don't get anything from Wayground to present this. I'm using the free features. I don't pay for Wayground, although other people do, and that's fine. I found that there's plenty of things on there that are free to use without having to pay for a subscription. That is an option, but I use the free features. Like I was saying, you can make a whole resource, like a lesson with different question types. With Classroom Pulse, you can see in real time what the students are doing. It gives you a link, and I open it in on a separate screen. if you didn't have two monitors set up, you could use your phone or you could use a Chromebook or something to look at what the students are doing. For example, if I have 10 students on an activity, it'll show me if 2 students have clicked off of the screen. Like if they're not on the screen they're supposed to be on, like if they've opened another tab, it will show that they've opened another tab. It'll even tell me how long they were on that other tab. Um, it'll show me if they're getting the right answer, if they're missing a question. If I do an open answer question, it'll show me what they're typing. So that's really cool, I think. I wasn't expecting to have that feature, but it's free and it's part of it. And then once the students are done, like if you give them an assessment or something like a formative assessment, because formative assessment can help your plan for teaching, like the next time you have class, you can see what concepts they are having trouble with, or if there's a particular student that is struggling. You can also set up accommodations in Wayground, which is very helpful if you have students of various disabilities or learning styles. You can have it set to extended time. You can have it set to where there's only 2 answer choices. You can have like an online reader kind of thing. So there's a lot of different things you can do to customize it for your students. When you connect it with Google Classroom, it'll actually show you the list of students. And if you want Johnny to have extended time, but you don't want Sally to have extended time, you can just make it individual for each student. These are just some general things. It's kind of a boring slide, but it's interactive. And we're going to do an interactive quiz is / Wayground together. I still call it quizzes, so sorry if that's confusing, but it was quizzes for many years and it's changed to Wayground. It also allows you to give student feedback very quickly. And, once the students realize that, hey, you can see if they're actually engaged in the activity or if they're clicking off or they're attempting to, cheat, heaven forbid. Audrey, what was your question about what is that called? I missed that one.
Just that feature where you can see what they're doing.
Oh yeah, it's called Classroom Pulse. So once you open an activity, there'll be a little box with an arrow and you click on it and you want to make sure that the students can't see it. So I just drag it to a different tab or something. Or I open it, there's like a QR code, I think, when it comes up and you can scan it with your phone. So it's called Classroom Pulse. It works with Google Classroom. These are some things I already talked about. I don't think it takes a lot of training to figure out how to use it. It's just kind of playing around with it. And if you want to teach a certain standard, you can just search by standard. It's really integrated with AI. So if you wanted it to create a complete presentation on something, you could do that. Or if you have an existing presentation that works that way, sometimes I use Magic School to make a presentation and then I put it in Wayground. So that's just kind of a neat way to save yourself some time. You can always go through there and edit. Like if you see a question and it clearly has the wrong answer, you want to make sure you preview everything before you share it with students. All right, so are you all ready? Are you excited to see how it can work? If you've already used it before, I apologize that some of this might be old news to you, but I think it's great. All right, so this is a sample screen from an activity that I did with students last semester on music careers. Hopefully you can see with the picture, it shows the accuracy and growth. It shows how many students were assigned. And when you click in there, this is just a picture, but when I click in there, I can see by class. Like if I just want to look at third period's results, I can just look at third period's results. I can look by student. I can look at it by first name of the student. Like if I want to assign a grade to it or anything like that, it's really helpful. If you want to look at by question accuracy, you can look that way. All right, so this is the session that I created for you all. It's just a duplicate of my music careers presentation. And you can either scan it with your phone or let me try to copy the link to it too. Copy the link and I'll put it in the chat as well. No, wait, that's not it. That's the link to the slides. So if you're on the slides, there's a link there. And if you're the good QR code. And there's another way you can connect to this as well. I'm going to give you the code. So you go to joinmyquiz.com. Oh, people are joining, yay. And then the code is 402910. So right now it shows me that I have 9 participants in the quizzes, and it's also popping up Classroom Pulse for me. And if I click on Classroom Pulse, I can see if everybody's kind of on it full screen or not. So does anybody need another second or two? I've got 13 on the, no, 14. So is that close to how many we have in
Can
here?
you repeat that number again?
Yeah. It's 402-910, and I put it in the chat again too. Is it not working for you, Val?
Greta, I'm driving right now.
I don't know
okay.
why. Listen.
Gotcha. Well, be careful. Okay.
Mine just is. I think mine's probably an internet issue, maybe because I'm at home.
Okay. I think it'll still let
I'll
you
keep
join
going.
even after. So here's a question. Who are considered musicians? And I can see that Amanda has already responded. This is just kind of cool. I can see that 14 out of 23 have responded. It just, and if you wanted to project this screen that I'm looking at right now, it would just show that Rebecca's responded, Rachel's responded. It doesn't say what anybody's answers are. And there is a timer. But if you don't want to use a timer, or if you want to give them extra time, like, okay, it looks like 66% answers. So maybe we need some more time. So I'm going to give you a little bit more time. Maybe people were having internet problems or just a little stunned. Oh, kick Alex off. Okay, can do that. So sometimes they have a little trouble and then you have duplicates of people. So I'll remove Alex. All right. So let's end the timer just for the sake of this. And their accuracy is so much better now. We have 88%. And I know you're not seeing, what are you seeing on your screen right now? Are you seeing that you, just what your answer was? Because we can discuss it. We can view the correct answer. One person answered people who write books. And there could be musicians that write books. So that's a possible answer. And we had 23 people that answered with people who perform on stage or record music can be considered musicians. So you could probably argue that people who write books could be musicians. It says, I can't type, Emily. Oh. I'm sorry, Emily, that's not working for you. Let's see. Trying to see what that picture says, Ben. All right,
that just shows us, yeah, that's just showing us what our screen looks like.
Okay. Thank you, that's good. So I'm doing this in teacher mode. So if I wanted everyone to stop what they're doing, there's a button called Turn Eyes Up Front, and then you can't really respond. And to let them respond, because maybe you want to say clarification or something like that, then you can remove the Turn Eyes Up front. You also have an annotation button, a whiteboard button. You can switch to student pace mode. So let's try that for a little bit. I'm going to switch to student pace mode so you can see what it's like if you're not in the teacher presentation mode. So I'm going to turn it on. And so you could, now it's looking like the traditional quizzes. So if you use quizzes in the past, there's a bar at the top that shows like your class accuracy and how everybody's doing. And if I was projecting this, I might not want to show it. I could click on questions and then you wouldn't see any student names, or I could click show only the top 5. Let's say that you did student mode and you did that all the way to the end. Let's see. Let me see if I can share my screen. I'm going to open it on my desktop. Give me a second, and then I can try to show it to you. That's more beneficial, right? Okay. Now I'm going to try to share the screen. All right, how's that? Can you see what I can see now? And if I click on the live dashboard, All right, this could be projected for the students, or you could switch it to questions, and the students can't see how everyone's doing. They'd see it on their own screen. Or you can just show the top 5, and you can see overall that your class accuracy is 95%. All right, so I'm going to show some more features in the teacher mode. For example, let's spin the wheel. And now can you all see this, that I'm spinning the wheel? Is it showing for you all? Okay. So spin the wheel. It's really spinning slowly. I think it's because I have so many things open. But you know, sometimes administrators, they want to see random selection, and it keeps the students on their toes sometimes too. So now it's spinning a little bit faster. It's still spinning. I don't know when it's going to stop spinning. This looks like it's slowing down. Maybe. Okay, looks like it stopped on David. So David, would you like to unmute and say something about if you've used Wayground, or if this is something that might be helpful? That's the question.
Sure. Yeah, I've used it like you, mostly like when it was quizzes. And I've used it just for the multiple choice quizzes type things for bell ringers at the beginning of class. But I know they've got a ton of other features I need to look into.
I'm going to look in the chat a little bit. Sometimes that gets away from me. That's great, David. Thank you. All right, for Wayground, you can, it's like Kahoot, because in Kahoot, you have all these Kahoots that people have made, and you can duplicate and edit those and use them however you want to. Wayground, it has a whole repository of existing assessments, presentations, and you can make it your own. You can use AI to make it your own, or you can use other ones. I have done that, like the music careers one. I didn't create it, I borrowed it. And thank you, Alexandria, for responding to Summer. So I'm going to close out the random selection part. And I'll show you what it looks like when we end the assessment. Oh, this is like in between. I'm going to end the lesson. So it gives you the podium. Well, it's kind of like Kahoot in many ways if you use Kahoot. And it shows your class performance. This is kind of scary, but we probably paused before everybody could get to those questions. That's what all it means. I'm going to go to home, and let's go through the process of making a Wayground. So this is the home screen on Wayground, and like I said, it's free. You can set up a password, or you can use like login with Google if you have a Google account. You can search for resources. If somebody want to put an idea in the chat of something you want me to search for, and I'll search for it. You could also upload your own content and enhance it, or create something brand new from scratch. And you can, when you're creating something, you can still pull from the question bank of everything that's on there. So I'm watching the chat if anybody has an idea of something they would like me to look for. All right, awesome, Emily. We'll look up some music theory. So, okay, there's the chat. Let's see what our options are. And maybe if there's a specific skill you're doing with music theory, such as pitch or note values, you can just add that to the search. It does sometimes take a second for everything to load. There's a lot of information there. So there's 209,000 assessments from music theory. Presentations are 6.7 thousand presentations about music theory. So presentations different from an assessment because there'll be instructional slides and probably questions, such as this one. It says there's one slide with 19 questions. This one has 10 slides with no questions. This one has 18 slides with 0 questions. There's interactive videos, flashcards. So I'm going to choose one of the assessments, unless you want me to choose something different. I teach middle school, so I'm going to click on this one. And if you aren't driving or you have a way to open up another tab and you want to kind of go through the process as we're doing it together, that's great. And if you have questions, I will try to answer them. Or you can just watch me. All right, so this was created by Clarissa Salinas. It's been played 470 times. It's rated medium. On the left side, it's got AI actions. So if you want to search for similar questions, like, well, this one has 10 questions, but you wanted to have 20 questions. So you could search for similar questions. Maybe you have a student that their first language is English and you want to translate it, make flashcards. So some assessments will have pictures, some won't. This one does. So you have a picture of the treble clef. It shows you what the answer choices are. Let's say that for some reason you pick one and it says that number 4 is a half note and you know it's not, so you can change it. You can have it show the answers or not show the answers. At the top, you can copy and edit it. So if you don't like the way it is and you want to make some changes or you want to add questions, something like that, you can do that. You are limited on Wayground as far as how many different resources you can have in the free version, but I've been using it the entire year and I've not run out of space on my free account yet. So anyway, you can also download it as a worksheet. So I found that's been helpful because sometimes we have students that their computer's dead, or heaven forbid, they've punched their computer and they're not allowed to have a computer anymore because that's actually happened twice this year. Or they stuck their pencil in the side of the Chromebook and destroyed it. So sometimes I have to have a paper copy. And it's really easy when you click on worksheet. You can customize how big the font is, what you want to show on the headings. One thing I've found though is that you can't really adjust the picture size. So if there's a quizzes or Wayground that has a lot of pictures, your printout might be really big. So you see, this is what your worksheet will look like. So the pictures are pretty big, so that means it's going to take up several pages. But with music theory, if you're asking questions about what a treble clef is, you definitely need to have the pictures. Up here, you can shuffle the questions. So this week, my students, we were doing blues music, and I created 3 different versions of the quiz. And one of the reasons I came to middle school is because my son's in 6th grade, and he's very close. He's very close to having autism. He just didn't technically meet the criteria. So he thinks things are very literal. So when he saw that I had put a large B on the quiz, when I passed it out, he assumed that every answer was B, but the other students didn't do that. So I think, you can make different versions of the quiz and just explain, this is the same questions in a different order, and it just generates that as much as you want. Yes, this is great for sub-plans. I've already used it this year for sub-plans. You can click print download. You can click play as a game. You can change the font size. Okay. So that's an example. And all right, are you all seeing are you seeing the screen that has the music theory? I'm hoping you're seeing the right one because not the worksheet one. Yeah. Okay, so let's say that you want to assign it to your 3rd period class to be done while you're not there at school. So I click assign. And one thing you have to do ahead of time is set up your rosters in Wayground, but that doesn't take long at all. If you get a new student and they enroll and they're in your Google Classroom, but they enroll in your Google Classroom after you've set up your rosters in Wayground, you'll have to just refresh the roster so that student will be able to access the information. I just love all the different settings. You can assign it to a class. I'll assign it to my 7th grade 6th period, and I can pick specific students or not. I'm not actually going to do that right now. If you want them to do it right away, but usually the way our schedule is, Alyssa, can it sync to IC for rosters? Well, no, I don't think it can. But if you have a Google Classroom set up for your students, it can get the roster from that. As far as I know, it can't sync with Infinite Campus, but maybe somebody else would know that better. Sometimes I'll have it where they can access it for 2 weeks or no deadline. Anyway, at our school, I'll see 6th grade every day for a week, and then I won't see them for 3 weeks. So if I sign something on Friday and somebody's absent, I won't actually see them in my class for 3 weeks. but they may want to like make that up later. And you can choose to allow late submissions or not. You can have accommodations for individual students or not. You can put it in accuracy mode. And if you put it in accuracy mode, they basically have to get whatever you want the accuracy to be. If you want them to get at least 80%, they can keep doing it until they have that achieved. If you want to do it in practice mode, some of the options are, unlimited attempts, question timer. If you want to do it like a series mode, you can do it like that, where it's not like a game. If you want to do traditional quizzes where there's memes popping up and music and all that, you can do that too. There's something called redemption questions. So if a student misses something, it can give them a second chance to answer it. That's a redemption question. There is an anti-cheating monitor. Basically, they put their Wayground in full screen, and if they click off full screen, it flags it for you. And you can say, hey, you're not on what you're supposed to be on. You can't open other tabs. Like I caught you. You can have that on or not. Here's the gamification options. If you want a serious theme, because this is a serious assessment and we're not going to have all the silly stuff, or if you want it to be a leaderboard where they're competing against each other, get power ups and all kinds of fun things. You can have the memes showing. The memes are kind of funny. After each question, it'll do a little meme. That's something that's had since the beginning. Other settings, mastery settings, anti-cheating settings. I'll just show those. All right, so let's say I'm not assigning it to a class, but I am going to assign it. So this is something you could do if you just want to give a code for the substitute or for NTI Day and you don't want it assigned to a certain class. It's just like a general code that'll work whether you're on the Google Classroom roster or not. So there's different ways you can share it with folks. You can click this little link and it'll copy the link and you can share it directly in Google Classroom. You could send it to your secretary in an email. It's probably easier to say, go to joinmyquiz.com and then put the number in. There's a QR code option. If you click on Google Classroom, it'll just go ahead and share it to Google Classroom without extra steps. There's other options such as Teams, Canvas, Schoology, Twitter, Remind. When I was coaching academic team, I don't know. Somebody joined it. Okay. When I was coaching academic team, I would send it on Remind because that's one way I'd communicate with the students. And they really like to do that to review their content. And there's other things that on there that exist. Like if I wanted them to review architecture, like American architecture or world architecture, there's ones on there and they could review it. There's pictures, a lot of things like that. In that. Go back here. Is this helpful for you all, or are there other questions that you have? What does everybody teach? You want to put that in the chat? I know some people that are in the Renaissance Grant, you know what you teach, but if anybody wants to share kind of what subject or level that you teach. I teach band and choir and general music, and I use this mostly with general music, but I think I could also use it with band, especially because my band students sometimes need a little review of their music theory, or choir too. Oh, wow. We have a lot of different things. So if you teach special education or you work with teachers and you have special education students in your class, do you think that the accommodations options will help personalize this for your students? Do you think it'd be helpful? Sometimes I'm just amazed, like finding new things that you can do with it. And like I said, I don't get paid by Wayground and I don't get any perks for doing this presentation, but I just think, hey, this has helped somebody. So I want to share. All right, let's look for something that's not music, just maybe something more general. Browse resources. You can browse by subject. You can browse by grade. You can upload your own content. I'm going to try that just to kind of walk you through. You can, if you have something saved to your device or if you have something in Google Drive. It's a pretty neat feature, I think, to have something. That's awesome, Amy. I love seeing what everybody is using. Okay, so these are just random things that I have in my Google Classroom. So I'm going to take this presentation called The Blues and see what Wayground can do with it. This was a presentation that I've had for like 10 years, and it's converting it now into a Wayground resource. This is some example of when AI is helpful. All right, so we can make it a presentation with questions and a whiteboard, or we can just do a quick assessment on it. So let's try the presentation, because maybe it's Monday morning and you have 5 minutes to prepare something and you need something that's going to keep the students engaged, and you can teach what you need to teach. Because who wants to sit and listen to a lecture for 45 minutes? No. I just think it's better if they have to be accountable for their learning, and you give them a slide and they're like, oh, I have to answer the question about this slide I just saw. It keeps them engaged. So it's going to add questions. You don't have to add the questions. It just uses AI to determine what questions would work for that presentation. So here's my first slide. I'm trying to show you. It's still adding the AI magic, I guess. And then give it a second. Okay, I think it's done adding things. Here's my slide. It's about work songs. Then there's a question. Why were work songs significant? It's multiple choice. It's based on slide number 1. You could print out your slides and then use the questions on a worksheet. You can make a duplicate of this, use questions on a worksheet. You could take these tools and make it work when you don't have technology, or that all the students don't have technology, or some of them need a paper copy. So these are multiple choice questions. I'm trying to find one that isn't. All right, for example, how do you think the evolution of blues music from country blues to rock and roll reflects changes in society and culture over time? My friends, that is Kentucky Standard MU colon PR 4.2.7.c. It's really identify how cultural and historical context result in different musical interpretations. So that's right there, a very good standards-based question. And that's one that they would type out the answer, which sometimes students aren't used to doing as much of that, especially in my class. I need to take more time for those open-ended kind of things, because, well, I mean, students are amazing, and sometimes they come up with things I wouldn't have thought of. We have multiple select here, which of the following are major characteristics of country blues. So there's 3 correct answers. It's based on slide number 7. So from a slide, show that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 6, 27, 28. Okay, I had 28 slides. It created 56 slides with questions. If you think there's no way we could get through this in a class period, that's fine. You could just take questions out. If you don't want to deal with any open-ended questions, or you don't want to have any multiple choice questions, or you just want to change it, or you want to discard all of them, you can do that. You can edit, reorder the questions in a different order. So here we have the editing screen. If you don't want this slide to come directly after this question slide, you could reorder it. If you don't like it having a question after every slide, you want to change it up so they're not expecting it. You could add an answer explanation. You could enter an ideal response. You could give it points or not points. It's got 30 seconds as the default, but you could change it to however many minutes you want them to have per question, up to 30 minutes, which is kind of crazy, but some students need a little bit more extra time. You can change the text color, the text settings. You can preview it. So let's preview what this lesson is going to be about. And how long did it take us to put this together? Just a couple of minutes. And it's ready to go. So if you're got the Sunday scaries or a little bit panicked or whatever, hopefully this will help. I'm going to go back and share my presentation again. Okay. If you want Are you seeing my student masteries picture with names blacked out? Is that what you're seeing? Okay. So for example, this would be a group of students. You can look at it by class period because that's all connected with your Google Classroom. You can look at it by accuracy. You can look at it by completion. Sometimes I give some points based on if they did it. Sometimes the points are based on how they did. So it's up to you how you want to do that. We're getting close to time, and we have plenty of time left for questions. So let me go back to make my Zoom screen bigger. Do you all have questions about how this could be used? Do you think that this is something that's going to benefit you and your students? Okay, Amy, you can ask Wayground to make the questions tell a story or be related in some way. Oh, that's really cool. I'm learning things from you all, of course. So I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My handle is GG Teaches Music if you want to tag me or anything. My email is my first name dot my last name, Greta.Gilbert@Floyd. This is my school phone number. If I can help you with anything, I'd love to do that. And I appreciate you all sharing ideas that you have using Wayground. Last year I did a presentation on Google Sites and how to set that up for subs, and I think it's neat how everything can work together before. And I do other things besides teach music. So I coach academic team, and my academic team kids are competitive and they like to compete against each other and see who can do the best. And it allows me to have different things going on at the same time because we do 5 different subjects. So I can have 5 different quizzes, Wayground going on at once, and they can all be working on reviewing different things at the same time. Let me see if I can show you what Classroom Pulse might look like. I've got a screen that's open that will show me that. Allow me to show that. I may not. If I go to the live dashboard, then it may let me see the Classroom Pulse option. Unless I've already ended it, which is possible. We don't really have time to restart it again. But I encourage you to use Classroom Pulse. Just be careful that you don't show the Classroom Pulse screen to the students, because they'll be able to see if Sally got the answer right or wrong, or what Sally's answer was. Here's where you clicked on Classroom Pulse. Okay, maybe I can show it like this at least. Maybe. All right, so it gives you this warning screen. Do not project this screen. Classroom Pulse, privately view insight. So here's the, you can copy and put it in a different tab. You can use the QR code. You can click continue and just make sure you don't show this to the students. So I will start seeing students' response as soon as students attempt the first question. So that's kind of what it looks like. And if Jamie's answer was really good, I might say, hey, Jamie's on the right track. Or, you know, Tommy, I like your answer. I didn't even think about that. That could really be a great response. You know, you can see what they're responding with. If it's multiple choice, you can say, oh, I see 10 of you have already chosen the right answer, but they don't know what the right answer is. They don't know if they've chosen the right answer. Just kind of encourage them. Oh, I see that little Bobby hasn't responded yet, so make sure you put your answer in. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to share about Wayground. But if there's any other questions you have, just let me know. And thank you so much for coming to my session today. I hope you have a great rest of the conference.